The Black Lives Matter is an international activist movement that first originated in the African American community. This movement campaigned against violence and systematic racism towards Black people. The movement itself began with the use of the word hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media after the shooting of a young Black teenager, Trayvon Martin. A group of young Black women, Alicia Garza, Opal Maddie, and Patrice Collin, formed what has since become a global phenomenon of Black Lives Matter. The treatment of a Black person in America has been nothing but upsetting. To be a Black person means to be followed around in stores just because you might steal something. To be told you're ugly just because of your skin color. To not be given equal footing of opportunities because you ain't smart enough or you screwed up. It means to be afraid to call the police for help just because you fear not to be taken seriously or be pointed out as an antagonist. Co-founder Patrice Collin stated in her 2015 interview that the Black Lives Matter originated from a need to intervene and prevent a havoc and chaos in Black people's life. We believe that we are in a state of emergency, and that state of emergency looks like a crisis in the Black community at some of the highest level. Crises such as being murdered by the state, incarcerated at some of the highest level, being unemployed at some of the highest level, and most of all, inability to live a life of dignity. New Zealand is a young country which is in the process of being developed. Population of 4.5 million people. Within this 4.5 million people, in the 2013 census of New Zealand, 67.6% of the population identify themselves as New Zealand European, and 14% as Māori. Other major ethnic groups including Asians, 9.2%, Pacific people, 6.9%, while 11.1% identify themselves simply as New Zealanders. 1.2% identify themselves as Middle Eastern, Latin, and Africans. This shows that approximately three-quarters of the population of New Zealand during the census were European ethnicity. If only 1.2% of the population identified themselves as African, then the chance of us Africans being discriminated upon is relatively low when compared to other ethnicities within New Zealand. Statistics New Zealand 2015 stated that people who identify themselves as Asians and Pacific Islanders have reported to having a higher level of discrimination towards them when compared to the other ethnicities. On the other hand, in a country like America, there's a much higher chance of a Black person being discriminated upon. According to Baker 2014, 46% of Black people in America feel that they have been discriminated upon due to their race, while only 16% of white people in America consider themselves as being discriminated upon. If you were to walk out on the street right now in New Zealand and approach a Black teenager and ask whether he or she feel that the Black Lives Matter movement is relevant to their situation, you are most likely to receive answers such as no, because I don't live in America. I don't have police officers pointing gun at me. I don't get judged or looked at differently when I walk on the street just like every other citizens. Some might even say, legally New Zealand treats everyone equally. And most of all lives matter in this country. A Black Kiwi teenager like myself living in New Zealand would feel that the Black Lives Matter movement is not of much importance to our practical everyday life. This does not mean that we do not consider the movement itself of being of any importance, or that we are not aware of how fellow Black citizens like myself are being treated like in other parts of the world. I strongly believe that the Black Lives Matter movement has no relevance to me and my practical everyday life in New Zealand. But on the other hand, if I lived in a country like America, I feel that I would have a much different perspective to this movement, along with being able to value and see the changes it's making in the lives of fellow Black citizens around the world. I live in a country where I have the same amount of right as every other citizen. I am not judged or treated differently because of my skin color from those who are meant to be looking after me. There are three main points as to the reason why I believe that the Black Lives Matter movement has no relevance to me as a New Zealand citizen. New Zealand is a country where all lives and ethnicities matter. This is all due to New Zealand's Human Rights Act. This act prevents people from different ethnicity outside of New Zealand from being treated unfairly or less favorable. According to this act, you cannot be discriminated against on the grounds of being a male or a female, being religious or having a different ethical belief, equal rights, employment, and most of all, your race and colour. Politics New Zealand 2013 stated that in New Zealand we encourage non-discrimination of race and no special treatment should be made to any particular culture. We are one country, one government, law, and the same right for all. Colin 2015 then went on to talk about how our skin color does not make us to become a primary target to the society. He stated that in New Zealand, your skin color and age does not make you any obvious and visible target to the racism in the society. The second reason as to why I believe that the Black Lives Matter movement does not have any relevance to me is based on the treatment of the police towards us Africans in New Zealand. In New Zealand, Africans don't look over their shoulders when they see a policeman. This is due to the level of safety and trust that we have here when compared to a country like America. According to the findings of Guardian Study 2015, young black men were 9 times more likely than other Americans to be killed by the police officers in 2015. In most countries, police officers who it's their job to protect individuals within their country tend to choose to discriminate one particular race. In New Zealand, this does not take place. Judgment only comes when proven wrong. Hazen 2016 indicated that police officers in New Zealand do not target individuals from any particular background unfairly and definitely not in a racist manner. And finally, employment opportunity. Waller 2013 indicated that the Black Lives Matter. So she stop, please. Okay, I will 1 minute. Waller 2013 indicated that black unemployment rate has an average of 16.1% in April, May, June, and July. On the other hand, unemployment rate opportunity for white people is 7.9% in the same period. This means that a black person living in America is 2 times more likely not to have a job while compared to whites. New Zealand is a country where everyone has the same opportunity to work. Whether you're black or white, this does not determine your future. Black individuals have the same amount of rights to become a doctor, a lawyer, and a nurse. Our color does not prevent us from reaching our full potential. Bachelor 2013 stated that New Zealand is a warm and friendly country where individuals from various backgrounds are welcomed. The Black Lives Matter movement is an amazing activist movement in order to provide black individuals across the world with the opportunity to live a life of dignity and respect. This movement has gradually started to provide changes in the way that black people are seen across the world, where they have been seen as criminals, unintelligent, shot and killed by the state. New Zealand is not one of these countries. New Zealand treats and respects us Africans in the same way that they would respect any other ethnicities. Our lives matter in this country. We are not judged in the same manner. We are judged in the same manner as every other ethnicities by the government and the police. We have the same amount of right to work in anywhere as long as we have the degree. Black Lives Matter movement does not affect me in this country. But through the use of social media, I am able to see and understand how fellow black citizens like myself are being treated in other parts of the world. Thank you.